Hey everybody, Wayne here. In today's Recon, I'm taking a look at Traces of War, designed by Tetsuya Nakamura and published by VUCA Simulations. All right, before we get started, I do want to say this review copy was provided by VUCA Simulations. In fact, they provided it, about 2 years ago when the game originally came out. This is a 2023 release, and I'm filming this the tail end of 2025. Apologies for the long delay, guys, both from VUCA and anyone else who maybe was looking forward to me taking a look at this game. Life has a way of getting in the way. I moved states, changed jobs, different department, same career, obviously law enforcement, but different job, different department. But anyway, we're diving into it now. Okay, Traces of War. Tetsuya Nakamura. So you may know that name. He is a very prolific designer in Japan, but he has had several very popular games released, translated in English, and released to North America, Europe, etc., right? The Western market. A Victory Lost from MMP. A Victory Awaits, also from MMP. Storm over Stalingrad, along with many other games. So he is a veteran game designer. Okay, Traces of War. Now, Traces of War is a two-player, but solitaire-friendly hex and counter war game. What makes it so solo-friendly is it uses a chit pull activation system to activate different formations. That is very similar system to the one used in A Victory Lost, A Victory Awaits, etc. So something that will be comfortable to anyone who's played those games. It's going to be familiar. All right, let's go ahead and pick up the box and start opening and looking at it. As always with my recons, my unboxings, I'm doing a full preview. I'm talking about the game, its functions. I'm looking at all the components. Make sure you're watching it in 4K, even if you don't have a 4K display. If you put it in 4K, it looks better. Check the bottom right, little gear icon, adjust it for 4K. Very nice linen finish style box. Actually, one of the higher quality boxes. Not super thick, decent heft though as well. And of course, since you're watching in 4K now, right? Anytime you want to look at something more closer or in depth, if I move past it, just hit pause and you should be able to get a good image of it. Traces of War is a two-player game that simulates the intense fighting between Axis and Soviet forces in Ukraine after the Battle of Kursk from August 1943 to March 1944. A major Soviet offensive is launched against a German mobile defense. Will the breakthrough be successful? All right. You can see with game contents here, it does mention a solitaire track sheet. There is not a solo system or bot built in the game. It's a separate track sheet, and we're going to look at it in a second, that'll help you as a solitaire player when you're playing solo, which is always appreciated. You have divisions for Axis, cores for Soviet. Time scale is 1 month turns, about 20 kilometers per hex. Playing time is 3 to 6 hours, and it's 1 or 2 player game. Complexity is only a 4. It's not too high. Solitaire suitability 9. Very nice. And you can see the back of the box, some units on the map. And I'll have graphics pop up, pictures, maybe some video, whatever I feel like putting up. So maybe you guys aren't just staring only at the box and as I read the back of the box. But all right, Traces of War. I think it's time we open it up. What do you guys think? All right. So like I said, nice thick box, almost like a linen finish on the artwork. Very nice. Okay, rules. Here we go. So the rules are not that long. I think it's something like 14 pages of actual rules for the game. Full color. And again, as always with my recons, I'm not trying to teach the game. That comes with later videos. This is just to show off the components and to comment on the game, the mechanisms, the gameplay, at least in a broad sort of introductory sense, right? All right, so again, you can see a full table of contents here in the front. And it does go back to, well, 14 pages, although that's 14, 15 of historical notes from the designer. Actual rules, it looks like ends at page 13, so only 13 pages of rules, so not an overly complex one. It has that 4 complexity rating. Hopefully that's spot on. Now, some games 14 pages, different than other games 14 pages, so we will see. Full color, you can see your units, whether it's non-mechanized, mechanized units. The game does do something, and we'll see this as we look at the counters, but for the mechanized units, There's actually a complete set of counters with tank silhouettes from the side, and there's ones with the NATO symbology of the mechanized of tank units. So interesting to me. Full color, 2 columns. Here you can see, so you rely on headquarters to have your units in command. And like I mentioned, command chits, right? So you're drawing command, you're filling a cup with command chits, you're drawing them, allowing activation of your forces. So you never know who exactly. Here's command range, just an example, show you how command range. So we got example pictures, pictures of the chits, pictures of the counters, all that good stuff in here. Your sequence of play. So Luftwaffe reorganization, command chit selection, right? So you're getting your chits. You get to pick which chits depending on what's available to put in the cup. Your action phase, you're drawing, right? You're checking your headquarters, your command chits. If you draw the supply chit, you got to check for supply for units. Soviet reinforcement, Soviet airborne, the Stavka, OKH, and your turn end phase. So victory determination and turn advance. You're not trying to learn the entire game. Supply line, you get examples of supply, examples of movement. I do like the fact that there's these full color pictures with examples in here. Combat example, a nice long example. I really appreciate that. I haven't played the game yet, but I do like seeing that. And then some examples within the text as well. And it's a nice large font. I mean, you can read it. You're gonna have no problems reading this one. All right, hey, rulebook looks good. Is it good? I don't know yet. I haven't played it, but it looks good so far. Like the presentation. Okay, on to the next. What do we got here? Ooh, we got the maps. Well, we saved those for last, but I did notice, I'm gonna leaf through everything. Shh, secret. But it's a very interesting sort of finish on these maps. So they are paper maps, 2 of them, you'll put together. A little bit larger playing area than a traditional, 22 by 34 inch. It'll be a little larger than that. But the maps almost have like they're paper, but like I said, they're like a thicker, and they almost have a linen finish themselves. Maybe a little hard to see on the, oh, there we go. You can kind of see sort of the grain of a little bit there. There we go. And I'll get them all spread out the end. Don't worry, but we will save these, okay? Here is that solitaire sort of track sheet I mentioned, and it's full. It's like mounted. It's like a mounted map would be, right? Fully wrapped, mounted style, you can see. But anyway, you place, next to the map, on the map, whatever. Just allows you, I believe all these tracks are on the map already, but I believe this allows you to, make it easier if you're sitting there, right? You're sitting at the head of the table, foot of the table, whatever you want to call it, wherever you are, and you can access the different tracks for VPs, command points, your chits, the turn track here, Luftwaffe available and used, Soviet reinforcement schedule, access command chit pool, executed and active, same thing for the Soviets, and then whoever's active right now. I like that. Very nice. Okay, and here are the units. We will look at them. Let's look at everything that's left in here, the player aids, then we'll look at the units, then the maps. I'll set them up. A couple dice, red and black. I do like that they included nice, large, high-quality dice. Included them colors, right, so for the units separate, for Soviets and Germans. I like that. Technically, it's more than just Germans, right? There's Romanians, I think Hungarians as well. But regardless, it's nice to have different dice included. Okay, so what do we got here? I believe the rest of it's just going to be these player aids. Yeah, so again, nice sturdy box though. Do you like the box? All right, it's just a box. I know, guys. I'm not overreacting to it. I just think it's a nice box. All right, Justin, I played some games and have handled some games in my time that I'm like, what is this box made out of? All right, so the player aid sheets, there's 2-sided. There's an A and a B, and you get 2 copies of each because it is a 2-player game, right? So set the other one aside. They are also, so they're not mounted like that solitaire sheet was, right? But they are very thick. They're almost like counter thickness cardstock. So they're not just like a flimsy cardstock. They're heavy. They're not bending. So anyway, you can see your sequence of play on here, everything on here. Turn 1 special rules. Starting to explain each of the sequence of plays. Luftwaffe reorganization phase, number one. Command chit selection, number two. Right? So you're working your way through. You can look over action phase, turn end phase, and then on the back side you have your combat results table, CRTs, the negotiation points, Luftwaffe reorganization, and OKH command chit chart. Okay, negotiation point costs, Stavka chit appearance. So what turn is it? Card CPU number under Soviet control. Oh, so maybe like some sort of command point, like maybe like VPs points or cities or something. Interesting. I'm not sure. But anyway, current turn depending, and then you get the Stavka chit, it looks like. Zones of control in the game. Total terrain effects charts, of course. Gotta love having that. It's MP cost, movement point cost, right? And then any combat effects. Very nice on that. And again, player aid sheet B. Again, you get 2 of them, 2-player game. Looks like in-depth for supply, movement, and combat. So more in-depth than you would on just the sequence of play. Reinforcements, airborne bridgehead marker, Luftwaffe air support, supreme command orders, crossing point, CP. A CP is controlled by the Soviet player when a Soviet unit enters a CP or is within 2 hexes from an unoccupied CP. Okay, and then that must be related to the Stavka chit, and then a number of rules actually. So okay, and they're shown by that. All right. Your headquarters, relocation hex, optional rule info, and then unit key here again, as we already saw in the rule book. Units are going to have unit ID up top, how many steps they are, their type, size, right? Division or corps, generally speaking, right? Their side symbol, combat strength, and then movement allowance. You have non-mechanized have just a combat strength. Mechanized have both an attack and a defense separately. All right, and then just to show you the symbology so you understand. Okay. All right, let's look at these chits. Look at these combat units. So these are individually die cut, right? So they will hopefully pop out nicely. Not too bad. Medium thickness. Not super thick counters. They're not going to be super heavy duty thick counters. Kind of a medium thickness, but not super light either. Okay. Let's start looking at them here. And so like I had said before, it's interesting. And obviously we're looking at some Soviet units, right? Guard unit should be red. Yep, guard. Tank. You can see the different, first of all, silhouettes, but also then the colors, right, of the red. And again, always pause it if you want to take a look at something more. And double-sided, of course. A reduced side on the back for many, if not all. I don't know if it's all the units, but for many of these. Looks like all the ones right here. And I had mentioned, where did I see that? Oh, I just was looking at it too. Oh, so maybe right here. So something like, say, these right here. All right, you guys, just bear with me. Here, and then here. So these two, right? 4th Guard tank unit. Here you have, for the Soviets, you have the armor silhouette up top here, and then this one, same unit, it looks like, exact same unit, but it just has the NATO symbology, right, for the armor unit. So all the numbers are the same, but you kind of pick what you want. Interesting choice to publish with both. I wonder if they already had the number counter sheets kind of figured and they had room for it. I know I did see a comment from somebody that, hey, they didn't like it because they thought it drove the cost of the game up, but I would assume that VUCA Simulations, the publisher, is going to know how much the game costs and know that it's either not going to impact it or it's going to be negligible. One could only hope, right? All right. Again, you have your, and obviously besides the German units, you get those panzers rolling, right? German infantry. You can see the those headquarters units, right? And some artwork for Luftwaffe artwork. Soviet control markers, I assume. Yep, so when they take over areas, out of supply for each side. And then those command chits that you're drawing. You can see them right here. Real nice round chits you're going to be drawing from a cup. And they're on the bottom of these as well. So, all right, not bad. You know what? Let's get those maps out, though, and let's kind of set them up and see what all that looks like. Look at that map. Look at that play area. 2 maps side by side. Woo! So I measured it with all freedom units here. It is approximately 28 inches this way. So when you're sitting, right, tall, height, whatever you want to call it, away from you, and approximately 41 inches, just under 28, just under 41 inches from left to right width here. So it is quite the playing area. All right, so looking at the map, and it clearly does not lay super flat by itself as of right now, either a whole bunch of books or maybe have to play it under plexi. I know if I record anything, that's going to cause a lot of glare, so we'll see. But huge play area here, definitely larger than most of my games. Usually I stick to one Wargame size map or smaller, but we'll see. All right, so looking around the map here, you can see some geographical features. The Sea of Azov. We have a city of Odessa down here at the bottom. We can have, what do we have here? Where am I thinking? Where's the terrain? Oh, it's on that playwright, isn't it? Okay. So I was just thinking about some of the terrain features that I kind of want to look at here. And of course now I am trying to find, there it is. Okay. So you can see our terrain effects, terrain type, terrain effects chart. Kind of see some of the different terrain. Whether it's clear terrain up there, it looks like. Would be, we have rough terrain, say near the Dniester River. Where's the Dniprovsk city, Kiev right up here, Kharkov city over here. So kind of get an idea of Donetsk, starting to get an idea of what the map sort of encompasses, right? So remember, it's effectively Ukraine. Swamp up there. Yep, swamp area up here. You have, oh, and then those would be breakthrough hexes. So if the Soviets make it all the way up there, they're breaking through. So good looking map. Little subdued on the colors. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it doesn't look cartoonish, right? It looks more real. So sort of a subdued colors. Oh, and then you can see those CP hexes, obviously, right, that we talked about. And then you can see the starting lines, starting front lines, if you will. So looking at the top right of sort of the maps here. And it looks like on the hexes, they have starting units that start in those hexes printed on them. I do know that I believe the back of these counters may have starting hexes as well. Not 100% sure on that, though. But anyway, you can see, if you're able to see it on camera, again, I had to kind of back the camera way up so you guys can see everything. All the Soviet reinforcement schedules over here, Soviet command pool, the chits, and same thing with the Germans, reinforcement over here, Axis infantry reinforcement, Panzer reinforcement, Axis command chip pool, Axis minor, so the minor powers, right? So Romania and, like I said, Hungary, just a few units. And bottom right, turn track, VP and CPs. But again, all of that is going to be, other than it looks like maybe the reinforcement schedule, right, but replaced by this thing, right? So you have that, you know, wherever side of the map, next to it, bottom of the map, if there's no units there, whatever will work for you to keep track of things. But Soviets are starting along the east of the map here, all the way, and they're going to be pushing their way, taking Kharkov, right, taking Dnipro towards Kiev and beyond. So I like the map. Like I said, it is subdued, maybe a little more color, maybe a little more differentiation between different types of terrain, make it pop a little bit, but also don't want to be too busy either, right? You want to see those units on the map. Speaking of which, let's kind of see what we got here. So in no way for setup or anything like that, but 31st Guard Infantry, wherever he would be. We have the 1st Panzer for the Germans. Put him out here. Start seeing some of these units out here, right? How they look. Oh, I think they look good. I think they look really good on the map. I like that. Yeah. And they're punching out nice. As you can see, I just basically just boop, little pressure on the edges, punches right out, all individually die cut. So nice pre-rounded corners and all that jazz, but looking good up on the map here. So I like it. I think it looks pretty good. Oh no. Russians are coming. Hold them back. All right. This is been my look, my recon video of Traces of War from. All right. This has been my look at Traces of War from Tetsuya Nakamura, excuse me, and VUCA Simulations. Again, review copy provided by VUCA. I think it looks really good. Muted colors, but that's okay. I think it does fit, especially it looks like the counters really stand out, which I think is going to really be key to playability, right, with these types of games, especially these large maps. Bunch of player aids, A, B, nice card stock. Map art looks good. Counters look really nice. I think I'll go with the Tank Silhouettes. I think I gotta. And then, what was it again? 13, 14 pages of rules. Yeah, Traces of War. All right. Let me know, guys, if you played this one. Looking forward to playing it. What do you guys think of it? A lot of discussion on Board Game Geek about this game. Good, bad, and everything in between. So, kind of curious what your guys' thoughts are. And let me know if you're interested in seeing more videos on this game. So, till next time, everybody. Later.